Hey everyone, and welcome to Lesson 8 of our Explainer. Today we're completely flipping the script on how you view procurement. We're moving far away from seeing it as just this dry, back-office administrative task, and instead, we are going to look at it as a strategic powerhouse, a literal core driver of business success. If you've ever found yourself wondering how top-tier companies consistently maintain their edge, well, a huge piece of that puzzle is right here. Okay, let's take a quick look at the syllabus for today. We've got three main topics on deck. First, innovation versus continuous improvement. Second, procurement and product development. And finally, measuring procurement performance. Let's get right into it.
Kicking things off with Section 1, Innovation versus Continuous Improvement, or how we find that sustainable advantage.
So, world-class procurement teams, they constantly have to balance massive leaps with everyday tweaks. We usually think of innovation as, just cool new inventions. But commercially speaking, it's the essential spark that creates entirely new consumer demand out there in the marketplace. It's about taking a technical idea or a market opportunity and converting it into a product that makes buyers say, wow, I didn't even know I needed this, but now I absolutely have to have it. And procurement plays a massive role here. They source the materials and the supplier expertise to actually make that light bulb moment a reality.
To really get a handle on this, let's break down the types of innovation we're dealing with. First up is process innovation. This is all about upgrading the how of manufacturing or service delivery. It's the introduction of brand new methods or technology. Think about, say, dropping robotics or automated equipment right onto a factory floor. To the buyer, the end product looks exactly the same, but behind the scenes, you've just drastically slashed your costs and widened your margins. It's a real game changer.
Next up, we have breakthrough innovation. Now, this is the heavy hitter. We're talking completely new, revolutionary products, usually driven by profound scientific advancements. Historically, think of the invention of the radio or the aircraft. Today, it might be a groundbreaking new pharmaceutical discovery. These are those rare, high-risk, high-reward developments that completely flip the market upside down. And they force procurement to scramble and build entirely new supply chains from scratch.
Finally, on our innovation spectrum, we've got incremental innovation. This covers those smaller, gradual improvements made to a product or service over time. It's kind of like your smartphone getting a slightly better battery or a sharper camera lens every single year. It doesn't rewrite the rule book, but it definitely keeps the product competitive as consumer expectations slowly creep up. And actually, that slow, constant rise leads us right to a really crucial philosophy, which brings us to Kaizen. This is basically the counterpart to those massive leaps of innovation. Kaizen is a philosophy of continuous improvement. It enables an organization to build a sustainable advantage by relying on two main things: continuous cyclical feedback and, this is absolutely key, the involvement of all employees. It's not just the R&D department pulling the weight, it's everybody coming together to cut out waste and tweak everyday processes. So, here's the ultimate balancing act. Innovation disrupts the market with major revolutionary changes, right? But it demands a huge financial investment and specialized expertise. It's expensive, and it's risky. Kaizen, on the flip side, thrives on frequent, low-cost improvements. It ensures your everyday operations are endlessly refined. The reality is, you can't just be a disruptor, and you can't just be an optimizer. World-class procurement literally demands a mastery of both.
But, well, here is where things often go sideways. Despite its importance, innovation often hits a brick wall, and it's usually for one of four reasons. Number one, people just naturally resist change. Number two, teams lack the commercial imagination to properly reward creative suppliers. Number three, procurement doesn't have the credibility to influence the engineers. Or four, leadership just flat out refuses to invest in R&D. Overcoming these very human barriers, that is lesson number one for any modern procurement leader.
All right, let's move on to Section 2, Procurement in Product Development from Ideas to Execution.
This is where procurement really rolls up its sleeves from day one. Just think about this number for a second, 90%. Our source material points out that a common goal of both innovation and Kaizen is getting rid of those old sequential steps in product development and performing them simultaneously instead. When procurement leverages the right tools, specifically CAE or computer-aided engineering software, they can help reduce cycle times, costs, and risks by a staggering 90%. I mean, that just proves procurement isn't merely about buying parts. It's about acquiring the exact tech that radically accelerates how fast a company can innovate.
That perfectly sets up this next thought. If we don't know where we are going, we shall not know when we arrive. It's such a fundamental truth in business, and it acts as a great bridge from the highly creative, idea-generating side of procurement over to the rigorous analytical side. Because let's be honest, you can have all the breakthrough innovations and Kaizen cycles in the world, but if you aren't actively tracking your destination, you are just flying blind.
Which brings us to Section 3, Measuring Procurement Performance, Evaluating Progress and Goals. Look, we absolutely cannot achieve world-class status without some rigorous evaluation. And there are basically two lenses for this. The first is quantitative or transactional procurement. This is driven by the hard numbers. Think order volume, a measurable reduction in lead times, or direct price savings. But then you have qualitative or strategic procurement. This focuses on the bigger picture. Judgmental impressions measuring things like suppliers' goodwill, partnership sourcing success, and internal customer satisfaction. You really need both sides of the coin to get the full picture of your progress.
Ultimately, the glue that holds all this measurement together is alignment. Every single, specific, quantified metric, what we call SMART operational goals, has to roll up to serve the much broader, permanent corporate missions dictated by the board. So if the board sets a massive, broad goal like customer satisfaction, procurement has to make sure their specific targets, like, say, reducing supplier lead times, are directly fueling that overarching mission. Because if your metrics aren't serving the board's mission, you're simply measuring the wrong things.
As we wrap up Lesson 8 today, I want to leave you with a little something to think about. Take a close look at your own operations, your own metrics, and your approach to innovation. Ask yourself, is your organization's procurement merely transactional, just ticking boxes and placing orders, or is it truly a world-class strategic powerhouse that's driving continuous improvement and breakthrough innovation? Honestly, how you answer that question might just dictate the future success of your entire business. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next lesson.